Hi, I'm Tim and welcome to this video. Now, after taking a break and enjoying the summer heat wave here in the UK, I'm back with doing videos. So in this video, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how to add the EcoFlow River 3 Plus and also the EcoFlow Delta 3 Classic into Home Assistant so that you can monitor the power in Home Assistant and also control the devices and settings in Home Assistant. So if you own an EcoFlow battery backup power device, or you're thinking of getting one and you're using Home Assistant, then keep watching this video and we'll get started and I'll show you how to do it. So before we get started, what you need to make sure that you've already installed the EcoFlow app from your Android or Apple app stores. So as you can see, I've got my Android tablet here on screen and I've got the EcoFlow app with the EF logo here and it's already saying installed. So if we go back to the desktop, or the home screen rather, you'll see I've got the EcoFlow app. So what you need to make sure is that you've opened and created the EcoFlow app. So create yourself an EcoFlow account. And then once you've created your EcoFlow account, which you would with any or most apps on the Android or Apple app stores, so you've created your EcoFlow account and you've adopted your EcoFlow devices into the app. So you must do that first before you can add them into Home Assistant. So once you've added the apps in there, you'll be pairing them into the device via Bluetooth, and then once the connection has been established via Bluetooth, it will then ask you to set up the Wi-Fi account for each of your EcoFlow devices. So as you can see, I've got a Delta 3 Classic and a River 3 Plus. So what we're going to do is add them both into Home Assistant. So once they're into Home Assistant, then you won't need to bother using the app if you don't want to. So you can just stop using the EcoFlow app. But I would recommend that you do actually leave the devices in your EcoFlow account. So whether you uninstall the app or not is up to you, but just leave the devices in the EcoFlow account so that you could do software updates and things like that in the app if you want to. So one other thing to remember is that you'll need to have in Home Assistant already installed the HACS integration, which is the Home Assistant Community Store integration. Now, if you refer to part 2 of my Home Assistant series, which I've done recently, so I've done a 9-part series, and if you refer to the video for part 2, it will explain how to add the HACS, so the Home Assistant Community Store integration into Home Assistant. So you will need that before you actually get started, as well as an explained adding the devices here into the EcoFlow app. So once that's been done, we can then close the EcoFlow app, and then you'll see here I'm logged into Home Assistant. So at the left hand side, you'll see I've got HACS installed, which I've just mentioned about. So with HACS installed, you would click on it on the left hand side. Then in the search bar at the top, we'll type in EcoFlow and you'll see we get some search results. So we get EcoFlow Energy, EcoFlow Power Ocean, EcoFlow Cloud and EcoFlow BLE. Now the one we want is EcoFlow BLE. So it's the first search result here at the top. So select it. Then it will bring you up with the EcoFlow information. So I would recommend reading the overview and supported devices information here. And it tells you all about the integration. And it does give you instructions further down on how to install it. But I found that following my instructions is a lot easier. So it's really simple to do. And as you can see with the supported devices, we've got the River 2, Wave, Delta, Delta Pro, River 3, Delta Pro Ultra and so on. So just take a look at these devices and see which ones are compatible and which are not. So once you've got into the EcoFlow BLE screen here, in the bottom right corner, we're going to click download. Then it will bring a pop-up saying EcoFlow BLE and it will ask you about the versions. So at the moment it will download the latest version. Now at the time of recording this video, the version is 0.9.4. Now this video is recorded in July 2026. So what we're going to do is click download in the pop-up window and wait for it to download the EcoFlow integration. Now it just takes a few seconds. So if we now go back with the arrow at the top here next to EcoFlow BLE, you'll see we've got pending restart. So what you need to do is restart Home Assistant. So to do this, go to settings at the bottom left corner and it will say one repair restart required. So if you select it and then select the submit button in the pop-up window, it will then restart Home Assistant. So it will say the issue is repaired, so click finish. And it will say starting Google Translate, starting Home Assistant and Zigbee and so on. Now depending on how many integrations and devices and add-ons you've got in Home Assistant, it might take a few minutes. But as you can see, mine's now saying Home Assistant has started, which just disappeared off the screen here. So now that EcoFlow BLE has been installed, what we're going to do is just click on settings at the left side bottom corner, then select devices and services, and you'll see we get two discovered devices. So we get the Delta 3 Classic, which I have, and the River 3 Plus. So to add them into Home Assistant, so all you need to do is click add on the devices, and you will see that in the EcoFlow user ID we get some numbers. Now don't worry if this box is blank, so it may not have a user ID in there already. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. So what we're going to do is click on EcoFlow Login. Then it will bring the drop-down options. So what we're going to do in the email or phone is type in our EcoFlow user ID and password. So you'll see I've just typed in my username and then the EcoFlow password. So these are the usernames and passwords that are registered with your EcoFlow app on your smartphone or smart tablet. So once you've typed in your username and password, and then with the region box you can leave that as automatic, and then it will say under BLE device it will give you the River 3 Plus or whichever device you're adding, and then it will say an update period. So this is set to 10 seconds by default, so I would recommend leaving it to set to 10 seconds so that it updates the information and pairs it between your EcoFlow power device and Home Assistant every 10 seconds, which I find is enough. So if you reduce it too low, it will probably make too high a read or writes to the Home Assistant database. So I'd recommend leaving it as default. So once you've typed in that information, so your username, password for your EcoFlow account, leave the region set to auto, just click submit. And then once you click submit, it will say discovered device configuration, and it will then reveal your EcoFlow user ID. So it automatically pulls that from your EcoFlow account into the integration here in Home Assistant. So then just click submit again. Then you'll see we get the name and assign box. So here you can call the device name, so you can rename it if you want. So what we'll do is just call it EcoFlow River 3 Plus without the numbers. And if you want to allocate it to an area, then you can do. But then once you've done that, click finish, and it will then take you into the EcoFlow screen for your device. So here we get the device information, controls, sensors. So here you'll see it monitors the power, kilowatt hours and so on, and each of the output and input voltages and power levels. So then if you want to add these into the Home Assistant dashboard, all you need to do is click add to dashboard for whichever box you want to add. So click add to dashboard, click next, and then add to dashboard. Then for sensors, we'll select add to dashboard, click next, and then add to dashboard again. And then if we go to the overview dashboard and then refresh the page, so refresh your internet browser page using the refresh button here, or use Control and F5 or Command F5, I believe, if you're on a Mac. It will then refresh the page and your EcoFlow should then pop up. As you can see, we've got the EcoFlow River 3 Plus, so we've got all the settings and all the voltage levels there. So then we'll go in and add the other EcoFlow device. So to do this, we'll go to settings again, select devices and services, and then under discovered device we have the Delta 3 Classic. So we'll click add, and then all you need to do with this option is, because it's already populated the user ID for your EcoFlow, because we've already entered the username and password for the other EcoFlow, we just need to click submit, and then it will bring up the name and assign box. So let's call this, instead of EFP, we'll call it Delta 3 Classic. And if you want to allocate it to an area, you can do. So once you've done that, click skip and finish. It will then take you into the settings for the EcoFlow Delta 3 Classic, or whichever device you're adding. And again, we can then click add to dashboard, next, add to dashboard, and then again for the sensors, we click add to dashboard, click next, and then add to dashboard again. So then if we go to the overview, once more, refresh the web page, and you'll see we get the EcoFlow River 3 Plus and Delta 3 Classic now on our Home Assistant dashboard. So there we have the EcoFlow power devices added into Home Assistant. Now, one final thing to remember is that because it uses Bluetooth, you will need to have your Home Assistant device within range of your EcoFlow devices, so within Bluetooth range. Otherwise it will not be able to pick up the information via Bluetooth in Home Assistant. So that is one important thing to remember. So that will do it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it useful, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Take care and bye for now.